We're live now.
Yes, so we're live now. Hey, Matt, Mohawk Matt. Hey, y'all, I want to welcome you to my talk with Mohawk Matt about using candid video in marketing. And I want to tell you, the first time I ever saw you, Matt, was on one of our happy hours with Steve Sims, and you were laying on the sofa and you were like all rattled out. And I was like, who the hell is this guy and what is he doing? I didn't know that you had broken your back. And I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, the happy hours are really casual, but I was like, damn, he's really casual. That was the first time I ever met you. And then we connected, and it's been really nice to get to know you.
Yeah, definitely. You too. It's that first for it's been 8 weeks now. I broke my back 8 weeks ago, so I didn't do much of anything.
Hard to believe. But I have to say, your videos are so good. And, everything from the planned whatever that you're doing at NavalX to the just ridiculous stuff. But I need to introduce y'all to Matt Denny, Mohawk Matt. I don't know where he got the nickname Mohawk Matt from. I have absolutely no idea. But you're the chief marketing officer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? For NavalX, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Workforce Innovation Office of the Navy, right?
It's a newer one. Yeah, we're about a year and a half old. We are a super connector. So we're trying to connect all the innovation things that are happening inside the Department of the Navy, which includes Navy and Marine Corps.
Okay, yeah. Well, my husband is retired Navy, 26 years. So I have a special affinity for the Navy.
Excellent.
But y'all need to follow Matt. He is so funny. And even when he's not funny, I mean, you just have really good content. And so that's why I wanted you on here, because I think almost everybody is like me. We overthink it. We're like, oh my God, what can I talk about? It's like we have all these things floating around in our head. And so we have a hard time thinking of a thing to talk about. And was it you that said the other week something about don't even worry about topics, just like document what you're doing or something to that effect? I don't remember. Maybe
Yeah, yeah, I did say that, but I took that from Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Gary Vee said it. Well, we'll let him have credit then.
Definitely.
So that's one of the, oh no, I'm going to back up. First, I wanted to ask you how you got started using video, live video and or candid video.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm 35, so I was using, first time I ever saw a video camera at all was the kind that you put on your shoulder.
VHS, yep.
And that was back in, and that was when I was a kid. And then in high school, I took a multimedia class that was it was about this big.
Yeah.
The kind you put on a little 8x tape.
Yeah.
And then we had digital tape. And so I started dabbling a little bit. It wasn't anything that I was like, videos where I'm going. It wasn't something that I dedicated my life to. But I was always in the multimedia realm.
Yeah.
More photo side and the graphics side. But had a I'm not that old, long 35 years, last 10, 15 years, been a lot of the media stuff, went into graphic design, website design. And then recently when I came to NavalX, so what happened was I came here to kind of do some IT related stuff. Well, at least I work for an IT organization. I work for whatever I need to do for one thing that matters to me is connecting and helping people. So I laugh and I thank you for your saying, I love your videos. They're so awesome. You're so great at it. I've been doing it since January.
Yeah, but you are. You're so great. And I'm sorry for laughing, but I just realized that I forgot to introduce your tie. So everybody is going to be like me this morning. What the hell is wrong with this tie? So after you finish talking, you can tell everybody. But also, I have to say, you could be my son because my son is 32. So I'm giving up my age. I'm proud of it. I have a 32-year-old and a 30-year-old. Anyway, okay, sorry for interrupting.
It's your show. What do you mean interrupting? It's your show.
Right, but I want you to talk.
And so I actually started video really like daily video and really getting into it in January of this year. And what happened was a teammate, my dog's jumping on me.
Let him get in we want to see him.
Oh, come here.
That'll be here after a while, probably.
Come here.
Oh my goodness. What a cutie.
Show him what's up.
Hey, what's his name?
That one is Sammy.
Okay.
And the other one is Grizz. He's running around here too.
Oh, what a cutie.
And so, yeah, so my coworker was going live on Facebook. I see Matt dressed up for the event.
Yeah, of course. Steve's got to pop his.
Yeah, I don't know about dressed up is the right word, Steve. Especially, to make it prove that I didn't dress up. I've got shorts on. I've got my socks that match.
Well, I have on a shirt that looks half decent, and then I have on a skirt that I've been wearing for 3 days. So, you know.
So, I don't know if dressed up's the right word, but so yeah, so I started doing video in January, and what happened was my coworker, he was doing Facebook Live for like his own personal feed, and he's like, "Hey," and he walks by me, and someone says, "Hey, that's he's like, "Who's that?" Sorry, "Who's that?" And I was like, my coworker's like, "Hey, that's Matt." And he's like, and I already had a mohawk, and he's like, "Now it's Mohawk Matt." And I was like, "Okay, whatever, I don't care." And then the next day, we were like, "We should make a video for our company for that, for fun." And so, like, I was in a Cowboys jersey, like I wasn't planning on it. I showed up, did this video of like 2-minute video of like what we did with my phone, pulled it out. I actually was so distracted, I ran into a wall at the end of the video, but I didn't edit it out. I left it in because I was like,
yeah, that's the best part. Yeah.
We'll see. I honestly expected to actually take it down. I was like, we'll see. It's probably a little too candid for the Navy and government, but we did it, and then it got responses, and so we're like, let's try another one. And we started doing another one, and it slowly started to grow. And earlier, Lisa, you had mentioned like you said that in your words, I do it so well, and I'm very candid on camera. That wasn't always the case.
Yeah, well, and that's what I figured. So that's what I wanted you to reassure people, that you weren't always the suave, debonair personality that you are now. That you used to be like.
Well, I don't know about that, Lisa. I've always been suave and debonair. I mean, come on, give me some credit there. I mean, we've known each other for at least 4 weeks. Come on. But yeah, no, it wasn't. I was always on the other side of the camera. I was the one taking photos, taking video of other people, and that's where I was comfortable. And my personality was always the same, but I was never used to being actually filmed.
Yeah.
So when I started getting used to it, my wife was like, "Hey, start just turning your camera on at the house." And so I started just like, I was like, talking to myself, I've never released any of these videos. I probably could one day.
Oh my God. One of these.
Like, have you guys seen these new scissors? These scissors are wonderful. And I just started getting comfortable with it.
That's a great idea.
And it was just talking to myself, and I've always been a candid person anyway, but being on film, it was weird for me.
Yeah.
And so I just kept doing it, and now, as you said, you mentioned my video this morning, I was driving to work, screaming good morning with my short tie on.
And you couldn't see that it was short. All you could see was this big freaking knot. And I'm thinking, damn, I'm old because I am really out of touch with the styles now. That was number one. And number two, why does Matt have a tie on?
I never. So I actually had some meetings today. Everyone today I had meetings with were like, "What the heck are you doing with that?" I never wear a tie. Oh, I used to. I have like 40 ties in my closet.
Yeah.
And that's what happened this morning. I was like, I'm going to put it on, see what happens. I didn't mean to put it on for you, but it happened.
I love it. Except this morning, it's like, didn't you have the long back thing like hanging down really long?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
you have it tucked in now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's no
because you couldn't see the bottom. All I could see was like to here in this big knot. And I was like, I just had to watch the video to see what the heck. I didn't expect you to talk about the knot, but I was going to message you later and be like, Matt, what's up with that tie?
You did message me later.
Had a way to do it that didn't hurt your feelings if you were like really thought it was awesome or something.
Oh, obviously it's awesome, but
yeah, it is awesome, but in a different way.
It's not going to hurt my feelings.
But you know what? That's great to know, because you're just so natural in camera that and I'm sure other people feel like, oh, he's been doing that forever and he's just used to it. So the fact that Lindy, that's her name, right? Lindy? The fact that she made that suggestion to you is such a great suggestion. And now I see, especially why you married her.
Oh yeah, that was why.
Yeah, but
It was for way more than her video tips. But.
Oh yeah, I know. But we're just going to stick with the video tips for now. Maybe in Steve's happy hour, we'll get into a little bit more of the other stuff.
There you go.
But no, that's really real. That's a great idea. I'm so glad you said that. You know, I've been trying to force myself to do video. And I mean, I was kicking and screaming. Steve's like, you got to do video. I'm like, no, I don't want to do video. So the other week, I actually made myself do a video. I didn't do it live, but I made myself do it after I had been mowing for 3 hours. And I use a push mower. And I've been out in the hills. And I mean, I was looking pretty bad. But I made myself do it because it was like ripping off a scab. Because how the heck can you look any worse than that, you know? But I'm like, I'll do that. But then I'm like, oh, but I got to look perfect all the other times. So I'm glad that you said that.
Well, and it's really interesting you bring that up, because something that we act different. So we act different when we're on a camera, or like you could be the COVID-19 is the perfect example. Nobody should shoot below the waist because nobody was wearing pants. We just all know that's the truth. But when we like get on the camera and like we post it somewhere, there's something that triggers mentally that's like, oh, it's got to be good, it's got to be right, it's got to be good, because and a lot of that comes from judgment. It's right, it's that fear of being judged. Of someone's going to think I'm,
and that's most of it.
It is really
99% of it comes from that.
Yeah, and but what's really funny on the other side too is a lot of people that won't go on video but love following video, like people that follow the candid video style of like one of how I learned from is like Gary Vee. He swears a lot more than I do.
Oh yeah.
But even like Instagram, wherever you watch them, a lot of the last 5-10 years, it's very more candid. It's real life. It's capturing that real of, hey, my life today sucked. I got hit by a car, or I got this, or this happened. And it's not just about, like, some people think, oh, like when I posted a video about my broken back, I got private messages saying, that was lame. You're just trying to get sympathy. I was like, I don't care about sympathy. I had some medicated stuff, so I was fine mentally. Yeah. But it was more of sharing the story of, hey, this would happen to me. Things happen. Life happens. And it's okay if it's not a perfect video, if it's not the perfect thing. And there's a place for the professionally made and edited, and there's a time and place for that, definitely. But one thing I was going to say was, if you're starting video, if you want to start video, if you're trying to get comfortable, I will tell you one fact right now: real life or in video, everyone already knows what you look like. They really
said earlier, they already know if you're fat. I'm like, damn, okay, well, I lost that one.
They know what you look like, whether you like that or not. You are who you are.
Yeah.
And you showing that, you being confident in that, makes other people feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yep, that's a really good point. So, but I do, whenever I watch you, I always end up laughing, even if you don't mean to make me laugh, because there are a couple of people, and there's another guy on LinkedIn that I follow a lot, Cool Kel, and he doesn't do funny stuff like you, but he has this beautiful, huge smile. And I'm just like, I look at his pictures or his video and I smile just as soon as I see them. And so watching you is the same way. But, you were talking about there's a time and a place to be goofy. But it's funny because, like, that one video, even when you're there at NavalX and you're interviewing somebody and then the guys in the background go, woo, it goes to show you don't have to always be all serious, even when the topic is serious.
Definitely. Well, and I think especially if you're doing, so that's a great topic. If you're doing interviewing, your interviewee is going to be as comfortable as you are.
Yeah.
So if you are uncomfortable and stiff and kind of rigid, then your interviewers, unless they're really good at giving interviews, they're probably going to feed off of you and be the same.
Right.
So if you're going to, there's the different ways you've seen me do video marketing. Is the one way of me just just me on camera, and it's
Mm-hmm.
usually a lot more candid. But even if I'm interviewing, I'm still pretty candid
Yeah.
because it makes them feel comfortable and it makes you feel comfortable watching.
Yeah.
It,
True.
there was a day, and there still is, where the video it had to be perfectly cut and perfectly made. And there's a time and place for that, definitely, especially in the marketing world. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're targeting social media, which if you're watching this and you're not on social media, especially because Lisa, you said you'd invited some veteran-owned businesses and stuff like that. If you're a
Yeah.
business owner, entrepreneur, and you're not on social media, then you need to get your butt together and get on social media.
Right.
And,
Yeah. And I
and
always tell people you're on there whether you think you're on there or not, because even if
yeah,
you're not on there, people are going on and talking about you. Years ago, it's probably like, God, 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, right after Twitter got started, whenever that was, we were doing social media workshops, and my daughter, it works for me, and she's an illustrator. And one of the things she did was Paul Revere on a horse riding along, and he had his iPhone out, and he was tweeting, "The British are coming," and we're like, "Social media's been here for freaking ever." Yes, you are on it. You might not think you're on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, but people are talking about you. So you're on there, whether you think you're on there or not, and you need to participate. And the other thing is, if you're not on there and are already participating, then if something negative ever happens, you don't have a way of fighting back or whatever. If that
yeah.
makes sense.
I have a really good example. My wife, Lindy Denny, she does social media visual storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and social media strategy, and she really targets builders, so custom home builders. And so this is her story, Lindy. I'm stealing your story, uh, but
You can pay her back later.
yeah, she was talking to a builder in Los Angeles about a year ago, and it wasn't for business. It was just a friend that she was talking to, and they said, "Oh well, there's this builder that does like multi-million-dollar homes,"
Mm-hmm.
and he was telling her about this story that just happened to him like a week prior, where he had this contract for a seven-figure home, so $1 million home or higher, and ready to go. They were like a week away from breaking ground,
Mm-hmm.
and the wife of the family who was having the house built is big on social media, and she found videos and photos from another builder that she liked more,
Oh yeah.
and so he lost a seven-figure
Oh my
deal
gosh.
because of social media, because he wasn't on there, because she found someone else,
Right.
and
So
they were already in contract and everything.
that's crazy. And I'll give you another example. It's not that big money wise, but kind of a local example that people can relate to. I live in rural Virginia, so a very small town close to us. The other year, they were going to have a big country music star was going to appear at their fair. The only reason he was coming was because he was already going to be in Richmond, and there was some kind of personal contact. Because he was already going to be in Richmond, he could afford to show up there and not lose any money. And about 2 or 3 days before the concert, somebody got on Facebook, some chick got on there and said, "Oh, they're sold out," or something like that. Just blew the whole thing up. So people didn't come because they thought it was sold out, and the town was not using social media at all. So they had no way to be able to even address what was
Sure.
going on. So that's the thing. You have to be on there. And it's like Paul Revere, however we're doing it, whether we're using a megaphone or you're probably not even old enough to remember the old telephone thing that where you sit in a circle and the kids play telephone and you whisper.
Oh yeah, I played that.
I didn't know if they still do that now. We did it in the Stone Ages. I didn't know if y'all still did it. But you know how everything changes and you have to be there to be able to address it. But to get back to video, okay, so Lindy said, just start videoing yourself, doing whatever the heck you're doing. How did you go from that to feeling comfortable using it candidly at work, number one, but also just deciding what you're going to talk about? Because as I said earlier, I think most of us are like, oh my God, What am I going to say? What is my topic?
Yeah, and for me personally, I am not a planner.
Yeah.
And so, like in anything, I don't plan well.
I'm
Um,
not either. So I should be an awesome videographer, but whatever. Okay.
that doesn't mean I'd be an awesome videographer. Hey, hang on just a minute. A lot of videographers are extreme
Yeah.
planners.
Yeah.
But for me, coming up with content is just what's going on. And so, in my case, for work life, for my work role as chief marketing officer, we do a lot of connecting folks to the larger Navy and Marine Corps. And so, the goal being, I use the videos to connect. I use the videos to give a microphone to the workforce of the 700,000 that I support
Mm-hmm.
to the workforce. And so, I really don't need to come up with content for that. It's just saying, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? That's cool.
Yeah.
We didn't know that existed. It's connecting piece. And so that's how it started, was just who are you? Where do you work? Oh, that's great. That's cool. Did you know that you can use this kind of thing? And for if you need help, you can call these guys. And then it started to adapt. So it started to morph a bit, where it started out with that candidness. And then it's like, okay, we have their attention. Now we have to kind of give them something. Otherwise, they'll go away. If
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing, you got to kind of hook them and then reel them in, and then bring them in close. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're starting to do now, where we're starting to get more into starting to do some trainings with it, and not trainings in the way of, welcome, you're going to take this 17-hour training, and it's more of just good information
Mm-hmm.
you can do in 3 to 5 minutes. And so that is one thing, is if you're doing video for your business or for social media, and if you're going over 5 minutes, and I'm talking LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, I think is the max of 60 seconds anyway. But YouTube's different. YouTube is not a social media platform like LinkedIn is or Facebook is.
Yeah.
YouTube is like Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different if you're targeting YouTube directly. That's different. But if you're doing video on some of the other platforms, or some that I may have not mentioned, then if you're going over, like, I try to keep everything below 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on who I'm with, it gets to 5, from 7, 8 minutes, you lose people.
Yeah, we
Because-
don't have time even if we want to watch it.
Exactly. And people watch them, if they're commuters, they watch them on
Right.
the train, while they're driving home, while they're doing laundry. And so if you have this long video, it's harder for them to commit to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you
And
will
you
lose.
can take the long video and just break it up into chunks, micro
Exactly.
topics or whatever. You don't have to cram it all in at one time.
Exactly. And that's what I do a lot of, is I'll record a good 10-minute section, and then I'll break that into sections, into 2 to 4 minute sections usually.
Well,
And
I think like with you, being that you're already there working with those people and everything, I can see where, I'm not going to say it's easy, but you kind of have ready-made content. But for people like me, oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
well, so I have ready-made content in the sense the idea is there,
Yeah.
but the people aren't necessarily there.
Well,
So,
yeah, no, I'm not saying anybody can do what you do. So, but like for me, like I'm a consultant and I work with entrepreneurs. Most of my clients I've never met other than through video. And with the kind of work I do, I have a really hard time. Well, like I said earlier, I overthink things, but I'm also like, what can I put on video? Because most of the stuff is in my head. And I have to tell you, my best videos are when my cat Thumper, who won't come, I want her in here, she won't come. But
Sure.
Manifa said she's still focused on your tie. But if Thumper were here, she would totally steal the show from your tie. But I'll be like, wah, 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 and then Thumper comes in, and I'm me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I'm sure that most people are like that.
well, let me ask you this, Lisa. So how long have you been doing your career, or life?
Oh my God, I've owned this business since 1996.
Okay, so a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. So you take that, and you mentioned it earlier, something that I had quoted Gary Vaynerchuk on, was don't worry about creating content. Just document. Just
Yeah.
you don't know what to create. You are an expert in something. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have a business, you know something.
Yeah.
You probably know a lot about that something. And so don't and this is where I see people getting the roadblocks, especially when they're creating like video, social, like candid type stuff or social media type videos is don't I mean, you can storyboard and say, this is what I want to do, but you already know the information. So the one of the best things that somebody pointed out to me when I was getting more into the video a few months ago was, like I was doing the same. I started storyboarding, and I was like, I got to map it all out. And I was in a meeting, and I just started going off on a topic, and someone said, "Hey," and they pulled me aside after, and they said, "You can make 4 videos on what you just said."
Yeah.
And so you already know the information, especially if you're a business owner.
Yeah.
Just bringing that in and just turning the camera on.
And that's the thing. I have so much stuff in my head. I have a hard time distilling it. But one thing I've thought about recently is it's the soft information that's more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of like people skills now. A lot of hiring, a lot of people who are recruiters and so forth say younger people don't have the people skills. That's a soft skill. And then for an entrepreneur like me, you know, a lot of times I'll tend to concentrate more on the technical or the framework or whatever, when the real thing is the soft skills, because how many businesses have been around since 1996? And especially in web development, and that's not what I concentrate on now, but I mean, when I started, I had to do it with a text editor, you know?
Yeah.
We used Alta Vista, which you probably don't even remember.
I use Alta Vista.
And I bet you were at America Online. I'll tell you, when and I already had my business, but when I really saw like the future of the internet, my kids were little. We lived in Florida in Jacksonville, and all the kids are out playing in the front yard. And then they all go, let's go inside and get on AOL. And they all ran to their houses and got on their computers and started chatting.
Mm-hmm.
It was the funniest thing. But, you know, even though I was already in the business, that's when I really was like, you know what, this is going to go places that we never even dreamed. And then when the .com bubble burst and everybody's like, oh, you know, internet's dead. It was just a fad. You know, it's just funny how stuff like that happens.
Yeah, we'll never use the internet. We don't use the internet for anything.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of my friends started the first local internet service provider here. And he went and spoke with another computer company about partnering. And that owner said, the internet's just a fad. Yeah. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, which I'm good at that. But okay, so how you transitioned. So what kind of equipment do you use? And I mean that like a regular old person like me. I know you probably use iPhone, but what else do you use that you would recommend to just a regular old small business owner or marketer that wants to get better?
Yeah. So I do want to kind of correct your statement. There is no regular old. There is no. Everyone has something, and you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have something to offer. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a business owner.
That's true.
You wouldn't be an entrepreneur. And so have that confidence that you are an expert in something. Yeah. Otherwise, your business would have gone under. And because when you do that video, people will tell. If you are uncomfortable, your viewers are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You are confident, your viewers feel confident. If you you said something earlier before I answer your what do I use question. You said something about how funny my videos and how goofy they are. I actually don't do that on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
That's actually just me. I don't know how to be another person. And for a while, I actually, even the one this morning, I didn't do it I didn't even realize it was funny.
You would have done it
in comments started coming in, and I was like, "Oh, I was just saying good morning."
And 5 years ago, you, Matt, before pre-Mohawk Matt, even if you had a mohawk, you would have still grabbed that tie out and put it on because
100%.
yeah. And you know, I did a post today, not video, but a post about personal branding. And I said in it, if you're a jackass and you like to work with jackasses, because you know what? We all have the kind of people we like to work with. If you're a jackass and you like to work with jackasses, then you need to act like a jackass so you're going to attract them. If you're a jackass and you act like a lamb, you're not going to attract either jackasses or lambs because they can see right through you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what too many of us get sucked into, is that we feel like we have to be everything and fit everybody. If you think about all the people in the world, you only need like a teensy percentage of those people to be successful.
Definitely. And so back to your question on what do I use? So I use a lot of the time, I use my phone. I'll just bust out my iPhone and I'll just start recording on that, especially if you don't need to put a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
There are a couple things that if you're using them for a business, to make sure that you can market to the widest audience possible, and that is captions. That is something, if you're doing videos. So I don't put captions on my personal of me just saying what's up to people, mm-hmm. or just telling a story, but I do captions on anything for me that's over like 4 minutes, and also anything that's for my work. So anything that's work related, I put captions on.
Do you create them first and then upload them, or do you let the automatic captions do it and then you go in and correct them?
No, so personally, I use a tool called Rev. Okay. It's an online service, and there's multiple online services, and you pay a fee per minute, mm-hmm. and it allows you to. So I don't have to write them out. I don't have to sit and type them out, and I can do it. I think it's like 4 to 5 hours, depending on how long the video is. If it's a 60-second video, they'll usually send it back to me in about 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And it's an actual human that's typing them out. If you can't afford it, which it's not a lot, but if you own a small business, everything's a lot.
Yeah.
So if you can't afford it, I recommend using another service, because your time is more valuable than you typing it out manually, and they can do it a lot faster, especially if they're short. If you keep your videos, as you start getting started, to less than 2 minutes, then that's, on the one that I use, that's $2.50. Mm-hmm. So for what could probably take you an hour, your time is a lot more valuable than $2.50 for an hour, especially if you're a business owner.
Yeah.
And so capture is definitely important. There are some services. YouTube does the auto captions, and some platforms do auto captions, but they're not going to be great. They're sometimes they'll have the wrong words. So it depends on what your thing is.
Yeah.
If you want like an official, very well done caption, it's worth either typing it out yourself, which takes time, or paying a service to do it, which is pretty cheap and pretty easy.
And what I've done on the short things, like a minute or whatever, is just upload it to YouTube or Facebook and let it do the auto generating, and then I just go back and read it, and it doesn't take but a few minutes. But if you think about it, that's really stupid. Even if it only takes me 5 minutes, it's really stupid to not.
It really depends if it really takes you 5 minutes, or if it takes you 30 minutes, but it feels like 5 minutes.
Yeah, true.
As humans, we're very, how long? It took me, it's like 30 seconds. It's really easy. But it really took you an hour because you got distracted or.
Yeah. And there's the time that you spend doing it, but there's the time that you spend getting ready to do it, and the time you spend finishing up afterwards. So that's
exactly. So
I would definitely never create captions for something like this. It would just be ridiculous.
Yeah. And so I started with my phone. I do use another gimbal type thing that I can put on my phone to keep it steady when I'm just walking around, like a selfie stick style.
Yeah.
I also use the DJI Pocket, which is about this big. It's a teeny little camera that takes 4K video. It takes incredible video. And if you're not in super loud environments, because the microphone's a little tricky with it, it's fantastic.
And so it's a camera and microphone, or just microphone?
No, it's a camera and microphone.
Okay.
Like, I could grab it, but I would go off camera, so I don't want to go off camera.
You know, when we were at Speakeasy Silicon Valley, Dennis, you had this is just a microphone, but a Rode Go, tiny.
Oh, yeah.
It would be around here somewhere, except I don't think I have mine. You know, I think I do. Tiny little microphone, and I think it was like $199. But there's the microphone, the receiver. So one you attach to your phone or your camera or whatever, and then the other is the mic. So there's the microphone and there's the receiver. And he was saying, I think it costs like $199. And he was saying that when he started using it, he had friends who were professional videographers that might have like a $1,500 microphone or something, that they were like, oh my God, that's awesome. And so,
well, there's a lot of technology out there that you don't have to buy this whole equipment. You don't.
Yeah.
And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, then you probably don't have a budget for this stuff.
Right.
Especially if you're not into it yet. And so a lot of what I see, I'll use the word fail, but kind of blunders that people do is they'll be like, okay, I'm going to get into video and I'm going to buy like a $4,000 camera and these lights and this audio, and you don't need that. If you really want to start, if you want to get into video, start tomorrow. Start today. Just start filming something with your phone.
Because really,
unless you have a flip phone, your video is good enough for your first tries.
Because really, all that is a way to procrastinate. Because you're never going to have the best equipment or the whatever. It's a way to keep putting things
It's a way to procrastinate, but it's also a waste of money.
True. Yeah.
Like unless you're making these beautiful, gorgeous, like commercial style videos, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And so, especially if you don't know, if you're just getting into it, you don't know that that's going to be the thing that takes you to the next level. So you don't want to waste that investment. Where if you just start with your phone and just start recording something, you can get a gimbal to make it steadier, and people would never know. A tripod, you spend $100 and you're good to go. Spend some money on some captions. I do use a video software that's pretty easy to use, but most things I don't edit. I try to keep things. Because,
so what is the video software that you use?
So I use Adobe Premiere Rush.
Okay.
So it's actually, Premiere is like what you can use that for, like movies. But Premiere Rush is it's actually designed for social media. So it's very simple, kind of templated out. So it can't do everything, but it can do probably what you need to get started.
Okay.
And some cuts and clips and stuff. But so you can use that. It's not that expensive. I do want to say something though, is if you're getting into video, that's great. And if it works for you, that's fantastic. But just because video works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
And what I mean by that is if you do video and you start putting stuff out, it will work. But if it's really hard for you, like mentally, and it's just a lot and it stresses you out and it's taxing, then maybe that's not the best thing for you to spend your time on. But if you can just start typing out and you can write articles and blogs and
long form articles,
maybe invest in that. Or if you have, if you maybe go podcasting, if you can just sit and talk for hours and hours and hours, maybe audio is better market. So video is can be very powerful and valuable, but if you start trying it and you're like, this isn't quite for me, or it's stressing you out, so I got to record a video today.
Yeah.
It's going to take me 12 hours. Then spend some of your time on something else.
And that's a really good point. It's like, it's just a tool. It is a tool.
Yeah.
So just like mowing the grass, I always say, I like to use a push mower because I like the exercise and everything. And I'm being productive and I'm getting exercise. My husband, hell no. He's going to ride around in the riding mower and drink beer. You know, he would rather.
That's why you mow one.
I know, really. He'd get a box of razor blades before he's going to use the push mower. So both of them are doing the same thing. We're getting the grass mowed, but we're each doing it the way that fits our personality best. So, and if you want to get exposure and get out there, don't force yourself to do video. If that isn't what fits your personality, go after the long form writing or whatever does.
Well,
personality.
And I also recommend that, like, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, and if you're to the point where you have employees, then utilize them if they're really good at it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of what I've seen happen is, I'll talk to some business owners they're like, well, I can't have someone else on a video because it's my business.
I was going to
It can
say
still be
that.
your business. It can still be your business, and you have someone else doing the videos, because you're not. If your strength is connecting to people and pulling them in, then it should be you on there. If that's not your strength and it's really hard for you to do this, hire it out.
Yeah.
Have someone help you. Get someone that has fun with it. And even if all they do is record you, so that you don't have to do all the extra stuff, because filming's one thing, but then if you start editing, if you start captioning, that's stuff that takes time away from what you're probably good at.
Right. And that brings up a common problem that almost all entrepreneurs have anyway, not just with video, is giving up control, letting somebody else do the things that we're not the best at, that our time is more valuable spent elsewhere. I think almost all entrepreneurs have that problem, at least for a period of time. So can you think of anything we haven't covered that might be a really good tip for somebody?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to do video and in marketing. I do a very candid way, both for it's not my business. I work for the Department of Defense, for Department of the Navy actually, but even for that, I'm pretty candid with it. But that style isn't going to work for everyone.
Yeah,
especially if you're not a candid person anyway. Like if you're a very serious, straight, sharp, then do it that way. Do what works for you. Don't do what works for me. You can try other things and see, maybe there's something. 9 months ago, if you would have told me that I'd be doing videos every single day, post online, commenting, talking to people, and that people would be like, hey, your videos inspire me. Hey, thanks for doing it. I would be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in my sphere of attention because I was focused on other things.
Right.
And so there, you can try things, but don't waste time on it. If it's not working, try it for enough, but pivot, move to something else, or a different style of video if that's not working. And two, or I'd actually say before one, is start. Don't wait, just start. Even if you don't release anything, if you want to start using video marketing, just start recording.
Yeah.
And even if you never release it, when you start getting ready to release things, you're going to be more comfortable.
That's
going to become more natural. And so just start filming yourself. Start filming whatever because you can do video marketing without filming yourself.
And that,
like a commercial or something.
And that goes back to what Lindy told you, is just start filming yourself around. But yeah, I've done video for years where I like narrated stuff, but not me own it, and that's been the hurdle I've had to get over. I'm like, no, I don't want to, because the light might not be perfect or whatever. So
and that's a real feeling, that's a real emotion, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I've had so much fun talking with you, and I can't wait. Friday night we get to have an emergency happy hour with Steve.
This is true.
See you then. And I'm really excited about that. But it's been so much fun to talk with you, and hopefully we'll get to do another one of these later. People can send us just questions, and then maybe later we'll do another one to cover those.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much, Matt.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It's fun.
Okay. Talk with you later. Bye. Bye, y'all.
See you, everyone. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Bye-bye.